All right, guys, so Sydney Sweeney is back in the spotlight. And this time, she's actually blaming women for the backlash she got over her whole bathwater soap collab. Now, it's been a few months since that chaos died down, but she's finally breaking her silence. And what she had to say has definitely stirred up even more conversation. Let's rewind for a second. Remember when Sydney teamed up with the men's grooming brand Dr. Squatch for that limited edition soap inspired by her bathwater? Yeah. That campaign practically broke the internet.
I never would have guessed the hardest item to get in the launch week of the Nintendo Switch 2 would be a bar of soap, but this thing is causing problems. Dr. Squatch has worked with Sydney Sweeney for a little bit now, and their newest scheme is absolutely diabolical, because in every bar of this new soap is Sydney Sweeney's bathwater.
The product sold out within seconds, but the ad also sparked huge controversy. People were saying it was degrading, that it set feminism back, and that Sydney was basically feeding into the objectification of women. It became one of those cultural debates that everyone had an opinion on.
Hello, you dirty little boys. Are you interested in my body? Wash? Well, you can't have it. Because this isn't for boys, it's for men.
At the time, Sydney didn't really respond. She just kept quiet and let the drama play out. But now, in a new interview with the Wall Street Journal, she's finally opening up about how it all went down. And according to her, the backlash didn't just come from men making jokes online. It came from women too. In fact, she claims women were some of her harshest critics. She basically said, "You'd think women would support each other, but I got torn apart." And that's where the blame shifting comes in. Sydney's pointing the finger back at women, suggesting that instead of rallying behind her, they turned against her and fueled the negativity. Now here's where things get interesting. On one hand, you could argue she's right. Women can be just as critical of other women, especially in Hollywood, where jealousy, competition, and double standards are all over the place. But on the other hand, some people feel like Sydney is missing the bigger picture, because the criticism wasn't just about her personally. It was about the kind of message that campaign was sending. The imagery of her in the bath, selling soap branded around her body, was bound to spark debates about objectification and female empowerment. And for some women, that wasn't something to cheer for, even if they like Sydney as an actress. Another point people have made is that Sydney's whole brand leans heavily on her image. She plays into the bombshell aesthetic. She's often styled in very revealing roles, and she knows that's part of what Hollywood pushes. That's not her fault, but when she agrees to something like bathwater soap, it's not shocking that people called it out. Still, Sydney clearly feels like the outrage was unfair and a little hypocritical. She even implied that people would have reacted differently if it was another celebrity, say, a male actor doing the exact same kind of suggestive marketing. And honestly, she might be onto something there. The internet is weird about these double standards. We'll laugh at some guy making a cheeky, over-the-top campaign, but when it's a woman, suddenly the discourse turns into, is this hurting feminism? Is she selling herself out? It becomes way more complicated, and that's part of what Sydney seems frustrated by. So the big question is, does Sydney have a point, or is she just dodging accountability? Was the backlash about her, or was it about the larger issue of how women are portrayed and marketed in media? At the end of the day, the soap collab was a massive success financially. It sold out instantly. People still talk about it, and now, months later, she's managed to spark another wave of headlines just by addressing it. If anything, the controversy has only kept her name out there and fueled her publicity even more. But whether you think Sydney's right or wrong, this whole situation highlights the tricky space female celebrities navigate. On one side, they're told to embrace their sexuality, own their image, and be empowered. On the other side, they get slammed for supposedly setting women back if they lean into that too much. It's like a no-win situation. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a like if you enjoyed this breakdown, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. And until next time, stay tuned for more updates just like this.